gentlemen, citizens and comrades, you may now switch off your voluntary tracking devices. Although this has been expressed as a polite request, consider it as an imperative. An active mobile device is a thought crime. These are artists from around Britain who are questioning aspects of our society and making art from the results of these investigations, in the same spirit of inquiry which George Orwell brought to pretty much the same issues back in the 1930s and 1940s. We have 14 Wales-based contributors to this show and 10 who are new to the Room 103 project, so my thanks to them, and I'm very proud to be showing my work with them. The Ministry of Art and Cultural Sanitation would like to inform you that this evening's event is being filmed for the purposes of visual health. So those of you who have arrived here with a partner other than your own are advised to be very discreet. We live in a time when anniversaries and local connections seem to govern the exhibition programmes of many public cultural venues. So presenting Room 103 to an audience in Wales faced two problems. One, as a result of COVID restrictions, we missed the 2020 date, which marked the 70th anniversary of George Orwell's passing. Two, Orwell wasn't Welsh. He had few connections with Wales, though you may hear some later this evening. I can say that, though he held politicians in low regard generally, he did express a great admiration for Nye Bevan. So bearing these two obstacles in mind, special thanks go to the committee of Oriel Q for accepting my submission regardless, and my gratitude extends to all the volunteers who have given such enthusiastic and practical support to this project. Of course, one more person needs to be thanked, and that is Eric Arthur Blair. O'Brien, without George Orwell, you wouldn't even exist, okay? Without him, there would be no show. His work, like ours here, investigated homelessness, the imperial legacy, state control, surveillance, humanity as commodity, and above all, the perpetual fight for freedom of expression and individual liberty. All themes which can be extracted from Orwell's writings. If these artworks lead you back to his books, I will have considered the show a success. So it is with great pleasure that I now hand over to the chair of the Orwell Society. Ladies and gentlemen, Quentin Corp.
All the artists that are involved in this project are keen to be involved, and in consequence, you will see that it keeps moving because you get new artists, new work from existing artists. It's a very vibrant live project. I'd like to introduce you now to Richard Blair, who of course is Orwell's son, and he has a few words to say to you.
What did Orwell and Nye Bevan have in common? Orwell, who had contributed articles to the London Evening Standard from 1940, became literary editor of the left-wing magazine Tribune in November 1943. It was during this time, when he was still writing articles for the Evening Standard, that he'd met Nye Bevan, one of the editors of the Evening Standard. Bevan had come across Orwell's writings and saw a kindred spirit, and they became good colleagues, but never personal friends. So their political attitudes were very broadly the same about the Soviet influence in world politics, and that one should be wary of Joe Stalin. Bevan was to defend Orwell over his attacks on the Soviet policy because they both shared the same view over the Soviet betrayal of socialism. By this time in 1943, Orwell had left the BBC and embarked on writing Animal Farm to put his thoughts into hard-hitting fairy tale. Aided by Eileen, his wife, after great difficulty in finding a publisher, Orwell finally persuaded Fred Borberg to publish after he had initially turned him down. Sadly, just when life looked good for the Orwells, they had just adopted a baby son, being me, Eileen became ill and went to Newcastle for an operation whilst Orwell was in Germany, reporting on the end of the war for the Observer by his friend David Astor. That Eileen died aged 40 on the operating table, leaving Orwell with me at the tender age of 10 months. However, he was to resist all attempts by his friends that he should give me up, and made all sorts of arrangements for me to be looked after when he was away. One of Orwell's great friends during the war was Arthur and Mamaine Koestler, who had a house in the Vale of Festiniog, which was owned by Clough William Ellis. And it was then that I think my father first went to Wales for Christmas in 1945. There were several intellectuals in that area, including Bertrand Russell, who I believe I might have met, but I can safely say that I recall nothing of the occasion of meeting the great man. However, on this particular occasion, I think I travelled by train on the luggage rack. Although curiously, I have no recollection of spending time in this mode of transport either. And I think luggage racks featured in other journeys, such as travelling to Scotland, and of course, to Orwell's final home in Barnhill on the island of Jura, where he was to write what turned out to be his last and most famous book, 1984.